Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about tips and stuff for buying your first car, whether you buy it outright or you finance it. These are just going to be some tips that I've learned when I bought my first car, and I just wanted to share them with you guys. So if you want to see some tips, just keep on watching. Okay, so the first tip I have is to have some kind of idea of what kind of car you want. You don't have to necessarily know exactly what kind of car you want, but some kind of idea. Like, do you want a sports car? Do you want a luxury car? Do you want a Chevy? Do you want a Ford? Do you want a BMW? Have some kind of idea, simply because when you go into a dealership, depending on what kind of car you want, it's going to depend on how much you pay for it or how much of a down payment you put down. So obviously if you go and you want a BMW, your down payment may be a little bit more than if you, for say, want a Chevy. So have some idea of the kind of car you want, just so you know how much that you really need to save. And that goes into my second tip, which is to actually save. I know it is hard because it always seems like you need something, or something new always comes out. There's always a new makeup product out. There's always a new pair of shoes coming out. There's always something. But I would really just save your money. Do whatever you need to do to save your money. If you have to hide your money, if you have to put it in a bank account where you can't touch it, do whatever you need to do to save your money, because I promise you, having your own transportation is so much worth it. When you don't have it, it doesn't seem like you just want to buy, but I promise, when you actually get your car, you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy I saved my money. Like, what was I doing before I had my own car? It's literally like the best feeling ever. My third tip kind of goes along with saving, but if you kind of know what kind of car you want, or you have an idea of what kind of car you want, make it your lock screen on your phone, so every time you look at your phone, you're looking at the car, and that's more reason to save. That's what I did before I got my car. I just put it as a lock screen on my phone, so every time I went to get into my phone, I seen it. And when you're out shopping and stuff, you look at your phone, you check social media, whatever, and every time I would like go to unlock my phone, I seen my car. So I was like, okay, either I don't need to buy this, or I need to be a little bit more frugal with my money and not buy as much as I was gonna buy before. So that's another little small tip. I mean, you don't really have to do that. That's just something that helped me. It's just like looking at a constant reminder of why I'm saving money and why I don't need to buy all of this extra stuff that I probably don't even need. So my next tip is, if you are specifically a woman going to a dealership, always bring a man with you, your dad, your uncle, your brother, someone, because what I've noticed is a lot of salesmen will try to jip you because you're a woman and they think you don't know what you're talking about. That did happen when I went to buy my car. At first I kind of went by myself, and the guy was just telling me stuff, and I was like, okay. And then when my dad came in with me, he was telling me something completely different about the same car, and I was like, this isn't what you told me when I came in by myself. And my dad did tell me they will try to get over on you because you are a woman and they feel like you don't know what you're talking about. So it's a little bit easier to get over on someone who has no clue what they're doing. So I would say always bring some type of male with you, so that you'll get like the best deal and they won't feel like they can like pull the wool over your eyes or something. Okay, so then my next tip is to stay within your means. What I mean by that is, do not buy a car that you know that you cannot afford just to have it. I mean, this is your first car, so you do not have to drive off the lot in a fucking Audi A6. You know what I'm saying? Like, stay within your means. If you know you can only afford a Chevy, then buy a Chevy. There's nothing wrong with a Chevy. I mean, if you have people that are telling you there's something wrong with their car, then you tell them to buy your car then. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't buy a car that you know that you can't afford, because that does affect your credit score. If you miss a payment, if you're late on payments, that does affect your credit score, and you want to keep your credit score up, because when it's time for you to get a new car, you want to be able to go in and be like, that's the car I want, and drive it, off the lot. So I will say, just you know, keep in mind what you know you can afford, and, you know, don't let outside things influence you, especially when you're the one who has to pay for this car, when your name is on this contract. Just keep that in mind when you're buying a car, is that you're the one who's going to be responsible for this no matter what. Also keep in mind that you want to save money for a rainy day. Things happen to cars that you do not expect to happen, or things happen when you least expect it, and you're just like, can anything else bad happen to me? And something happens to your car. I know that happened to me, and it was during the winter, and my thermostat went out, and it was like I didn't have any hot air, and I was like, seriously? And I'm thinking it's something minor, and I go in, and the guy's like, oh yes, $500. I was like, seriously? I could fix it. No, I couldn't. I was going to say I could fix it for $500, but no, I couldn't. And luckily I had the money saved up to pay for that, but $500 isn't just something that you can, you know, just pull out of anywhere. So I'll always save money for a rainy day. Something's always going to happen, you know, with your car. You're going to need an oil change, and, you know, you haven't gotten paid yet, or something's going to go out in your car. Something's going to need to be fixed. You may even need gas before you get paid, or something. Like, you just always want to have money. You may need a flat tire. I mean, you may get a flat tire, and you may need to pay AAA, or, you know, it's just so many things that can happen when you have a car, and it's always good to save money, because you don't want to be in a predicament where you need something for your car, you need something done to your car, and you don't have the funds to do it. That is like a terrible feeling, and you really just want to be able to fix your car, do whatever you need to do for your car when it needs to be done, and not have to wait or rely on someone else or anything like that. You want to just be 100%, you know, on your own, just in case, because people are so sometimes you never really know their mood or how they feel or whatever. So just, you know. Also, I forgot to mention, before going to the dealership, have some kind of idea of whether or not you want to buy a new or used car. Just because a car is used doesn't mean it's beat up, jacked up, whatever. Like, my car was used when I bought it, and it was one of the best used cars I had seen on the lot. So there's nothing wrong with buying used cars, but like I said, make sure you have that male with you so they can look at the car and check it out, look under the hood and everything. Make sure that they aren't trying to sell you a jacked up car. That's very important, because a lot of places tell you, like, once you drive it off the lot, that's it. I mean, so if something's really wrong with it, it sucks. So that, you know, make sure you have someone to go with you that understands cars and knows about cars and can check it out and everything. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with used cars. Like I said, my car was used and it's perfect. Other than a thermostat, I haven't had any problems with it, but I've also had my car for about 2.5 years. So, you know, that just, you know. Also, keep in mind that if you do buy a new car and you finance it, then your payments are going to be a little bit higher, because it is a brand new car. So your payments are going to be a little bit higher. The car is going to be a little bit more expensive. So keep that in mind as well. My last and final tip is going to be, make sure you are responsible enough to have a car. Having a car is a big responsibility. Your car needs certain things at specific times, and you have to keep up with that. Your car needs a oil change every 3,000 to 6,000 miles, depending on what kind of oil your car takes. You cannot drive 10,000 miles without getting an oil change. You will lock your engine up. Like, you know, you have to be responsible when you have a car. You have to make sure that you're not driving on E, because that messes your car up. Your car needs oil changes. You need to, you know, clean your car. Car washes, cleaning the inside of your car. You need to get your car maintenance at least once a year. Some cars need their spark plugs changed more often than others. So really just make sure you're responsible enough to have a car, because there's so many ways that you can mess up your car and you don't even know it. When I first got my car, I remember my car takes synthetic oil, so I can go a little bit longer without an oil change. But I remember I was inching up on like the 4,000 mile mark, and my dad was like, you know, you're gonna need an oil change soon. And I was like, okay. And he was like, this is the one and only time I'll remind you. Because normally when you get your oil change, they'll put like a little sticker in your car that says like, get an oil change at this many miles or on this date. So, but when I first got my car, it didn't have that. So easy to mess up your car. And these are things that like are expensive to fix. If you lock up your motor, it's so much money. I think my brother said it was almost like $1,000 to fix your motor if you lock it up from not getting an oil change. Like, these things are so expensive. And I guess if you have the money just laying around to get your car fixed, if you messed it up, then by all means do what you do. But I personally do not have the money sitting around to pay $1,000 to get my motor fixed because I forgot to get an oil change. So I need to be on it when I get my oil changed. No doubt about it. Like, I am on it. Like, I see the sticker. Okay, at this many miles or on this day, I need to get an oil change, and I'm going to get an oil change. Granted, my car does take synthetic oil, so my oil changes are a little bit more expensive, but I don't have to get them as often. So that's a pro and a con. More expensive, but I don't have to get them as often. So you kind of gotta weigh it out. When you get your car, as well as what kind of gas your car takes. My car takes regular unleaded gas, but some cars take premium gas, and that is a little bit more expensive. I know my mom's car takes premium gas, and when she fills her car up, she damn near cries every time she fills her car up, because premium gas is so much more expensive than, you know, regular gas. So also keep that in mind when you're buying a car as well. It's what kind of oil it takes, what kind of gas it takes, all that good gas that costs money all the time. Okay guys, that is it for this video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Also, if you have any video requests, please leave them down in the comments as well. And before you leave, make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit the bell so you're notified when I upload. And I will see you guys in my next video.